Hey there, everybody. How you doing? Lots to go over. It's just been 2 or 3 days since I last did a live stream. Yet a lot has happened. A lot to talk about, as you can see in the banner, such as Pellegrini's renewal. We faced Porto out in Portugal yesterday, and other players that are looking all of a sudden important to Mourinho. So let's jump in. I haven't actually seen the match yet of Porto, so let's check out those highlights. I'm gonna grab your screen real quick. Share screen. There we go. You're going to see all my folders on the right-hand side. It's been nice in New York so far. I know a lot of people who might be watching this are not from the area, not even from the States. One thing to know about New York is it's not like what you see in the movies. It's not always just a nice, beautiful day or if it's everyone's out in a t-shirt and they got their little bag around their neck or a scarf in the winter, right? It's actually not like that. It's often really humid in the summer. In the winter, that humidity makes it like a bone-piercing cold, so it's often really uncomfortable. Looks like it's going to storm. I would love to get my Vespa out in a little bit. I just picked up a 2012 Vespa LX 150 in the beginning of June, and I've been working that out because I had some problems with it. I'd like to go get some groceries, but anyway, let's jump into the Porto-Roma highlights. So once again, I haven't seen these, so I'm going to stop it every few seconds and just go over things that I'm noticing. Ooh, I like that track from Smalling. Let's watch that one more time. That has actually some brilliant defense because that's tricky coming off that free kick. And you see Pellegrini even busting his butt to get back there. I like that. That's good from Smalling. I'm glad to see him back in the fold. I didn't know how that was going to go with Mourinho, but you can find Calafiori in there getting the start. No offsides there, a little fuori gioco. But it wasn't offsides, they're saying, which it wasn't. That's gonna be the one of, I think, 3 or 4 major saves that Rui Patricio has throughout this match. He's looking like a massive jump in quality compared to Paulo Lopez. It's a different thing. It almost like I'm starting to feel that they're not even comparable. I wasn't too familiar with Patricio before the Euros, and I was really impressed with him. I thought his shot-stopping abilities were second to none in that tournament. It was also almost a shame that Portugal didn't get further with how good that he was playing. Against Belgium, I felt for them. I thought Portugal controlled most of that match, and then Belgium just got, I think, Thorgan Hazard scored that off of their only shot of the match. But yeah, so far, so good. All right, I'll be quiet. Second, Pellegrini there. Look at him on the bottom right, sliding in to stop the rebound. Nice. Bene, Mkhitaryan. Molto bene.
25 metri, pensa al tiro, lo fa. Peccato, ci sarà spostata, comunque era sotto la traversa. Bazzagnolo, eccole là, crossi, mezzo colpo di testa.
Well, let's look at who sends that in. We know Mancini gets that goal. Let's watch who sends that free kick in right there. The Z-Man. And I'm not talking Zlatan. A hit from Mancini. Jeez. Boy's taking no prisoners. I think Mancini's a little mad with himself there. Let's go back and look at that. Watch. I think he is a little annoyed between the confusion from him and his center midfielder. I think he's looking at the center mid like, why didn't you track back? Or perhaps the winger here with Perez. And I don't think he expected to have to make that challenge. And I think that's why he hits the ground, because he gets frustrated because maybe someone lost his mark, or that there's just a little bit of confusion between the two. Ooh, good cover, VR. All right, one more time. I know this hurts, but we got to see where it went wrong.
João Mario si accentra a drenare un paio di feet, appoggia indietro per Ferreira, Debra cerca di all'inizio di Ferreira.
Just a follow-up.
Si appoggia a sinistra, Manafà, 1 contro 1, muove il cross dentro, qualcuno sta a pulire il tiro, alla fuori. L'impressione del
nice
gol.
hit with his left.
What song goes
All right.
like?
Stop that. Take you out of here. Stop screen. Okay, we got some comments, and let me check. Some people checking in. Listening to you talk will make my workday go by so much better. Thanks, Ben. Some people checking in. Marco is here. Demaranice. We're going to get to his tweet in a few seconds. I do want to look at that lineup, though. So I'm going to read off this without grabbing your screen again. Patricio in the back, Smalling, Mancini, and then Calafiori, Karsdorp, Diawara. Darboe was also in the starting lineup. He played just 46 minutes, and then he came out, I believe, for VR. And then Mkhitaryan was in there. He came out in the 69th. Zaniolo also in the 69th. Ahead of them were Dzeko and Pellegrini. So one thing I want to say about Pellegrini is I think as time goes on, and also in Mourinho's 4-2-3-1, I can only kind of see him as the attacking mid, because he has the athletic ability to play in that trequartista role, where Mourinho's going to want somebody who can play on the high press and win the ball back, a la Nainggolan, the way that he did. You know, when he was playing at Trek, he always got the ball back, and that was so important to the way that our offense was created. And I think that Pellegrini, of course, they're different players, don't get me wrong, but I think that's the mold that he's going for here. But I also like that we saw Pellegrini getting back, so he can use that athletic ability, one of his key assets, to really help out the team. I don't see him playing in the anchor positions. I just think that with Diawara, Darboe, when Veretout is back, Cristante, VR, I can't see him playing there with 5 or 6 center mids that we have. Substitutes, let's check out who was on the bench. Board, El Shaarawy comes in the 69th. Pusato, who played the other day. Borja Mayoral, who doesn't get in on this one. Kambula, and then a couple of boys from the Primavera with Filippo Trippi, Riccardo Ciervo, Eduardo Bove, and then Zalewski, who we will get to, Villar, Perez, and Ibanez. So let's go. Porto are super hard to break through. Rock solid, says Soufiane Zerad. Yeah. You got to remember, that's a Champions League team, right? Like, this is not, Debrecen or some team in the Dolomites that we just picked up and decided to play against. It's a legit team. It's Porto. So to go to their place, they're well rested. They've got less players who are away on international duty, and we fight them to a 1-1. They get a scrappy goal. Like, I'll take it. I thought we had the better amount of opportunities for sure. All right, share. I wonder how this looks on a phone, if most people are watching on a phone. So let's start off there. Who do we got? We got Nadet. Nadet coming in from Malta. Mourinho has turned Roma into a Baroque painting. I'm actually impressed. That is awesome. Look at that. She's right. It's that class tweet there. I didn't like that, what they did against Mkhitaryan on that foul. Roma TV didn't include that one in, but there was a nasty foul from Pepe against Mkhitaryan after Zaniolo was fouled. It's like, come on, guys. Like, Pepe, grow up, bro. Like, you're old, and you're still doing the same things you did when you were 22 years old at Real Madrid. Like, come on, bro. Just suck it up. Like, if you're too slow to play and you're hacking, just call it quits, bro. Go to Saudi Arabia. Get that major contract. I don't know. Come to MLS. But, like, if I was Porto, I wouldn't even want him at this stage in the game. Wasting everyone's time, hurting our players. Grip, man. So class tweet by Nadet there, Miss Duncan James. All right, let's work it down. Enzo, who writes for Chiesa di Totti. I love Chiesa di Totti because they're one of the only publications which focuses on columns for Roma, as opposed to something like Roma Press, which is more news. Chiesa di Totti is columns, and I respect them a lot because in calcio, in football, and all sports, there's such a shift from old school writing and journalism into something like this, a YouTube stream or GIFs or whatever, 30-second clip or reels, right? That's becoming the thing, but you need people who know how to write. And Chiesa di Totti is a perfect platform. I read their stuff all the time. Great writers over there. Enzo says, we're so lucky to have him. This guy played heavy minutes last season, and in those minutes he fought every second, Mancini. He's a leader, and he continues to improve. Mourinho is the perfect manager for him. This may be a match made in heaven. Totally agree. I think that Mancini is a player who's ready to explode, aside from getting the goal. Him and Mourinho does seem that match made in heaven, for sure. I agree with the paraphrasing, the word choice there. Against teams of this level, with more, agonismo. How do you say that in Italian? Like strength against them, more fight, more want to win, desire to win in a friendly, but when you're inside closed, he's saying like there's less friendliness. This is never going to be a friendly. Porto-Roma is, friendly, but this is always going to be a hot match. Well, especially when Pepe is there. Freaking guy. All right. On to Calcio AS Roma. I think it's impressive. Roma looked as good as they did despite missing key players in the mid. Nothing is ever determined in preseason, but positive signs to take from last night. Identity of the team is clear to see. Friendly with Betis will be another intriguing test. Totally. Preseason doesn't always mean much, but like Calcio says here, positive signs, and that's what we're always looking for. Compared to seasons past where we go into Retiro or mini camp, summer practices, we don't look prepared. We it's always the struggle of, will they adapt to the coach's tactics by the first match day of the season? And 9 times out of 10, we haven't. But right now, Calcio says, good signs. Sufyan says, weren't we quite aggressive too against Porto? The amount of fouls from Pellegrini alone was quite crazy. I'll take it. Maybe he's buying too much into Mourinho. He's got to come back down a little bit. He's getting too excited. He's like, I think my boss wants me to, go out there and be a bull. And he's taking that quite literally. But I love it for now. Enzo is loving it too. Minicucci. I think I'm saying that right. Let's keep it going. From AS Roma themselves. You can't buy the right mentality at a supermarket, so we need to build it ourselves in every training session and every game. I think this is the turn that we've been waiting for. We often, if it's a forum, a Twitter chat room, a WhatsApp group chat, on Discord, whatever it is, there's always talk about how Roma needs to build up this winning mentality. Building it ourselves, not buying it. Not going like the way that Man City did when they failed with Adebayor and Robinho. That took years for Man City to get to where they want to today. Building that mentality. I like it. Mancini coming out with that one. So he's got the right attitude. Okay. Marco De Marinis comes up with the Paulie Walnuts gift there, the Buongiorno. When I think that's from when Paulie's out in Napoli and he's got his he's got a prostitute in his room and he's like overindulging in Naples and he keeps telling Tony Soprano and he's like, Tone, you gotta try the food. You wouldn't believe it here. And Tony's like, what are you, a child? He's like, grow up. Because Paulie is so excited. I think that's what that meme is from. And that was in reply to Giallorossi.net saying that Zalewski is convincing everybody. Trequartista or someone on the outside, he's a pure talent. The Polish player can become the Jolly or the I say jolly in English. The neutral, no. Yeah, neutral, no. Somebody who plays everywhere. Freshest player who plays everywhere. With Mourinho, now I think to keep him, not just in not in these games, but in throughout the entire season. So that's what that is in reply to. So proper meme placing there from Marco. Marco is a Canadian fan. I think, Marco, where do you live? Out in Toronto, I believe. I think Marco's out in Toronto. Roma things, again, excellent game. The team looks reasonably fit and organized for this stage of preseason. Many today played a full 90 minutes. More important, there's already fire ignited in them. Great to see. Yeah. This is how I like to. I coach for my high school. I always tell them, like, guys, I don't care if you mess up, if you take chances and it doesn't work out. As long as you get out there and you bust your butt, that's what I'm looking for. And that's like a universal mentality. And I think that says a lot about players as well when they go out there, regardless of the coach, but now with the coach, and give it 110%. Really want to sacrifice themselves. Scott Monroe. Darn, I think I forgot to tag Scott. If this is just for today's game or for the season, I'm here for Giallorossi playing as a halfback when Roma are in possession. Roma have dropped to a back three while in possession of the ball to allow Giallorossi to dictate play. Yeah, it's a good shout. One of Giallorossi's criticisms since he's been a Roma player is his back passing. But maybe if we take him out of an area where he is back passing and put him a little bit more in defense where he's just kind of passing horizontally or forward, that could benefit him because we've seen what he can do. He's a great passer. And he, like Scott says, he can dictate the flow of the game. I got a shout here from Enzo. Thoughts on Zaniolo playing 70 minutes yesterday? In my opinion, that was massive for his confidence. He played against a physical UCL quality side while getting an assist. Yeah, Enzo, especially like after coming off double ACL injury, young player, young mentality. In actuality, someone Zaniolo's age, young 20s, their brain hasn't finished developing. So I only say that because sometimes young players and, mature players will have struggles with mentality coming back from a big injury. A little bit of distress in their minds. So for him to get out there and to get that 70 minutes in, that confidence in his legs, like, oh, I can do it. Yeah, I think that's really important for him. And like you said, Porto's no joke. I mean, UCL quality side, for sure. They've been together a while, too. Marco jumps in. He says, yeah, Toronto, Diet New York. Yeah, I guess you could call it that. That's funny. Cool. The debt. Nothing screams friendly match like the whole two teams in a brawl with each other on the pitch, except for Mourinho, who just seems unbothered, and Pepe in the center of it all, as always. Yeah. Oh, that Pepe. Retire, Pepe. Call it a game. Call it a day, Pep. And last one from Roma Things. I appreciate this. I love Quentin Tarantino. I've seen almost all his movies. Inglourious Bastards is probably in my top 3 for him. And there he is comparing Mancini to the guy who was the baseball player, and he's kind of like losing his mind throughout Inglourious Bastards because of the horrendous things that they're doing out of anger and because the Holocaust is happening. And it's back to that quote about not being able to buy a mentality. Mentality is something you can't buy. So every training session and game you have to play, you have to go out there and show it. Give your all. Mentality has to be there against every single opponent on every ball you fight for. The boy has a little devil inside him, and it is flourishing under Mu. He is loving it. Yeah. I like that haircut too on Mancini. I can't pull that off. I don't have that type of straight hairline. And his hair is denser for sure. But that looks, I also don't have big biceps or play for a professional soccer team. But yeah, Mancini looks great there, doesn't he? Enzo jumps in. He says, I got to visit New York someday. I love what you guys at Roma Club New York are doing. Yeah, Roma Club New York is like a mini Court of the Sud. I think it's honestly the best experience outside of Rome, probably outside of like, being in the Curva Sud or from the stadium. And he's got to be New York. It could be over 50 people some games, especially for like a derby or something. But regardless if it's Europa League or Conference League or a derby against Napoli or Lazio or Juve, there's always people coming in and out. Of course, COVID has hurt a little bit of the attendance because there's not Italian tourists coming in right now. However, it's still a great atmosphere. A lot of local people too, people who have relocated, people who are American like me but became Roma fans. And it's properly run. My buddy Claudio does a tremendous job. There's always an emphasis on innovating there. If it's like new shirt designs every year, custom designed flags and banners. I'm actually trying to get one of the designs screen printed or vinyl onto my Vespa right now. So I'm looking into that. Yeah, do a tremendous job there. Incredible place to watch a match. Shedvin says, I just joined. Have you shared your thoughts on Eldor Sharamadov for loan with option to buy for 18 mil? He's not a player that I remember too well from last year. I don't think that I watched him play. Honestly, if he was on the field, no, it's not someone who rung the bell. However, when it comes to these unknown purchases, sometimes like the best thing for me, what I always believe is to trust the manager and Pinto, right? Whatever they want to do, because you never want to have players who come in who don't fit the system, right? Like, what would it be if the coach didn't ask for that player? And I don't think that's the situation here. I think with Eldor, which will be on the back of his shirt, I think there has been an ongoing dialogue between him and Mourinho. So if it's a profile that he's selected, he think it'll go really good, then I'm all for it. There was a player for Porto when they won the Champions League with Mourinho. He was South African. I forget his name. It's something English sounding. And he had the best season of his career. I think they loaned him in just for that season. And Mourinho got him like over 20 goals. No one ever heard of this guy before. He ended up killing it. So maybe that's an option. However, I do think if we do get this guy, we have Dzeko, Borja Mayoral, who I think is going to have a breakout season. And this guy, that's 3 center forwards. That's a good look. We have 3 different competitions going on with Coppa Italia, Conference, and the Campionato. Dude, sometimes that's what it takes, like being extra prepared in a position, not just like, oh, okay, that'll be good. The that'll be good mentality is not what it's going to take. It's going to take more in order to get the top 4 in Serie A. I think this is going to be the most competitive season that we've had in maybe a decade, right? Juventus just lost the throne. So what's your take on sending youngsters to low-level Italian clubs on loan? First off, before I read the rest of the sentence, I will say that I'm against that. I think that there should be a B league the way that there is in La Liga. And I wish Roma had a farm team. If it was, let's say, Ostia, and Ostia climbed the ranks from Serie D, C, B, and then they became the feeder. And that they would purposely or with FIGC work something out where that team couldn't be promoted. I think that would help Italian youth the best. More of a farm team system for sure, because then you can instill a philosophy rather than always looking for a team which might fit Roma's philosophy. Like, okay, we want to loan out this player to Pescara, but do they share the way that we anticipate our loanee will be playing in the future if it works out for him? So it's so much better to have a team under your ranks owned, which already has that philosophy, the way that City does with City has a team, maybe one in Australia, NYCFC, Manchester City, and I think maybe like one in Korea. And there's a system where in the beginning you're seen as going to this team in, let's say, Korea, and then to Australia or to NYCFC, and then eventually you make it to Manchester City. So it's a philosophy that's shared between the 3 or 4 clubs. I love that system because almost like the way that Barcelona does it, right? Those players are ingrained. They know how to play regardless of what manager is going to be there. So guys like Darbo and Zalewski, in my opinion, they'll benefit more from training with the first team. I also agree to an extent because if they're training, that's great, but nothing can replace actually playing in a match. So we do want to get them some time. I think that's where the Conference League steps in big time. That should be a big bonus for our young players who will need that time, for sure. So I think that there's an advantage there. Cool. So about Zalewski, I wrote him on the tweet here, impressing. I do hope that he sticks around. If Mourinho looks at this profile and he's like, yeah, he could do it all, he could be our player, then why shouldn't he be with us? So, yeah, and so I agree. Onto the ring. Let's check out that ring real quick. Digital Bits ring. I'm just gonna go to the first thing that comes up here. There we go. Now this thing, I have never seen something like this from a team. It's sweet. Can you imagine? One, I would feel like the Godfather, but two, it's really sweet, I think, because the club's actual colors are gold. So it's not yellow, the way that it might appear on a shirt because of the nature of a shirt. And then the maroon in there, the Pompeian red, right? That's just really sharp. Going together with the kit, what I loved most about this, they're sold out now. I think the ring was like 3,000 euros or more. And the cool thing about this, though, is that all the proceeds went to Roma Cares, which of course is the charity arm of Roma, which goes on to service the local community. During COVID, we remember they did big things like over 500,000 masks and the generators they bought for the hospitals, and they were doing stuff for mental health with a hotline together with Wind. So it does make a difference when people, buy this stuff. And I think that one day that ring is, people will look back on it and be like, that's super cool. Maybe something I would wear to like Christmas Eve dinner or a wedding. Like that would be cool. I can't wait to get my hands on one of the New Balance shirts, though. Not just to own, but to actually feel it and see what the material is like. Because, yeah, dry fit, a lot of us are familiar with the stadium kits that Nike put out. I didn't like that Nike put out two different types, though. I feel that if you're going to put out a kit, don't put out a stadium jersey. Just make it one kit, the one that the players wear, because that's what we want. We don't want a knockoff or a second-hand type thing. We want the actual thing. So I really am looking forward to checking out the New Balance kit for sure. And once the tracksuits go out, I love tracksuits because imagine like you pull up to the airport or you're taking like a high-speed train, right? You get on with your luggage, you got your bag, your weekender, your tracksuit, you're looking fly. It's so simple. I love that look. Cool. So let's check out, I meant to show this too. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. Yes, I am. Yeah, that ring is a work of art. Let's check out these Zalewski highlights I found. Roma TV killing it.
Zalewski la rimette in mezzo, Felix! Nasce
Oh,
tutto da
Felix.
Zalewski ancora.
Got it.
Eccolo qui, Zalewski che sposta il pallone. Va Zalewski e c'è il raddoppio della Roma. Zalewski! Zalewski ha visto nello spazio d'Arbolo, ha servito alla perfezione sulla corsa, la finta su Pisapia, prova a liberare il sinistro, scivola, peccato, nel rigore poi ritiro, pallone conquistato ancora da Zalewski! Il gol ancora della Roma, indovinate chi? Zalewski!
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so we got the rings. We got the lineups. What else? Pellegrini contract renewal lasting for today. No, second to lasting. Pellegrini contract renewal. There's rumors. I don't know if it's more than rumors. Going to 2026. It would be great. I'd love for him to stick around his entire career at Roma. And then our new shirt sponsor, Digital Bits, who is the XDB, I believe, is the cryptocurrency, and that is part of the blockchain. Who owns Digital Bits, and that's who the actual deal is with. Something with a Z. Let me check my notes and see who the name of. What was the name of that company? Zitara. Zitara is the company that owns Digital Bits. So they've got this cryptocurrency. So for the ring and the shirt that was on auction, that was the way that you had to buy it. You had to buy it through a cryptocurrency. I'm going to stop this share. Okay. One last question here. Okay, two last. There we go. All right, you got questions? Yeah, throw them in. I got to ask you this, but if Dzeko gets sold, is Icardi possible? Because I know if Dzeko can do another season, your thoughts? I think Dzeko looks awesome right now. Having him there to teach Borja the ropes and any other striker that comes in is an excellent thing. Dzeko has won a ton, including the Bundesliga and the Premier League with Manchester City. I think we all remember that season. So for him to teach these guys, it's a really good thing. Now, if you put Icardi with Borja Mayoral, I could see how that could create some tension between them two, rather than a master-apprentice relationship. Now you have two people going battle head-to-head, so we would have to see how that would work out. I don't know Icardi because I just don't know if he's the profile that Mourinho would really want. I don't know if I believe that it's true. However, if Icardi is going to grow as a player and get back to being an all-star striker, and Mourinho is probably the correct coach for him to get him to, kick it up a little bit a notch and work for the rest of the team. He knows what he's going to do before the ball arrives at his foot, like what we saw with pass made to Lolo this past Sunday. Yeah, it's true, for sure. And Enzo says, in my opinion, Zalewski's greatest attribute is his ability to make good decisions quickly. I know that sounds simple, but it's a skill that a lot of the great possess. Yeah, sure. It's those micro thoughts, micro decisions, right, which separate the good from the great. Absolutely. So I'm excited to see Zalewski this year. I'm so glad that he has one of the best coaches on the planet to help him out there. So Betis, our next friendly. Looking forward to it. Who knows if we might get some surprise purchases and transfers. It's like this, the Friedkins do everything so under the radar. I love it. So thanks, guys, so much. Give it a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks. Talk soon. Leave comments.